So at this time in the timeline, Vince Russo is there gaining a bigger voice in the creative process. What do you remember about Russo's role at this time?
So Russo was kind of new then, but we knew he was just the editor of the magazine at the time, and we all knew him because we'd been in the magazine and been taking pictures and everything. So we knew who he was, but he had just now kind of came into the creative scene. But he was always really nice to me and really professional. We only had one real dust up, and that was later, a lot later. Like I always got along with Vince, and we were look. He was the one we were going to pitch, please let us be a tag team. Let us be a tag team. And again, it's like, hey, change it and do this. Okay, well then what? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That's my biggest pet peeve from working on the creative side of things is when a talent comes to you and goes, hey, I want to work with so and so. Okay, well, to figure out a story and get back to me and we'll maybe we can kick some ideas around. Yeah, I just want to win the title and then work with so and so. You go like, okay. Then look, that's a strategy. That's a sound business strategy. We all want to win the title. We just all can't. So
It was interesting in saying that. It was interesting for me in my position at WWE, learning and evolving on how talent should pitch stuff. Because
yeah,
a lot of times I have this character and they pitch this character, but then there's no laid out plan of how the character
yeah,
actually fits into the program or the show, like
yeah.
how the feud actually correlates to the content on TV. It's good idea, but it doesn't work with the current product. So how
Right.
do you
And
actually incorporate?
well, that's what a lot of the viewers don't understand is all the because look, everything has bureaucracy, right? And when I say bureaucracy, I just mean a process of going through some things and clearing some things and making sure things are okay. But if you just come to me and tell me, look, I'm going to wear this mask and I'm going to beat people up backstage, okay. You know what I mean? Like we get 2 weeks out of that, 3 weeks tops. Maybe take a week off. Now what? You know what I mean? Like, don't just tell me you're going to do that. Where does it go? What does it? How are we going to get this character out in front of people and put you in positions to talk about that character in a way that makes me understand that character? And because the more I understand it, then the more I can become emotionally invested in it. If you're not emotionally invested and I mean emotionally invested in your baby face or your heel or whoever your guy is, man, it's not he's not working. You know what I mean? If he doesn't have you emotionally invested, then we need to get him talking some more. And that's the big deal about promos too. Promos are huge nowadays because it lets people know what my motives are, what the am I the good Samaritan? You pass a school bus that's turned over and people will go around it and film it and all kind of crap, but some people will stop and run towards that school bus, and those are little good Samaritan actions that a babyface can do on a wrestling show without words too, that just show you in his actions, oh, he's a good guy. You know what I mean? And so you got to write them into scenarios where they get the opportunity to show or say that they're a good guy. Um, I don't even know what we were talking
Yeah,
about,
no.
Ryan.
So we'll bring it back. Let's talk about relationship with creative. So we're talking about
Okay.
Russo coming in, and you guys interacted, but there wasn't necessarily a friendship at that point.
Right.
Do you think, having been in creative yourself and being on both sides, talent and creative, do you think it's important for talent to be friends with someone that's in creative to maybe help them get some opportunities?
So look, speaking professionally, um, and from a corporate vantage point, like it's a little frowned upon for the writers to be friends with the talent. Now, look, that happens a great deal because they work with some writers a lot, and so they have their favorite writers. I firmly believed at the time that if I made a name for myself, if I stood out on television, they would have no choice but to come to me and go, "We want to do more with you. We want to do promos with you. We want to do this," And so I never for 1 minute thought about making friends with the guys so that they would put me on TV more, but I did think about making my TV time count and then kind of forcing their hand, like, okay, they're gonna come to me now.
Which is
Um,
which is the phrase undeniable that I always
yeah,
use,
yeah, yeah,
making
yeah, you
yourself
did.
so undeniable that
Yeah,
there is no choice but to go with you.
yeah, and that's the deal. That's it in a nutshell, and if you're waiting on me the writer to get you over, you're going to be waiting a minute because the writer's a writer for a reason. He's not a performer. He's not a WWE superstar. He's not an AEW superstar. He's not a Ring of Honor superstar. New Japan. He's just a writer who loves wrestling, just like me, just like you. And so, but he can't do it for you. You got to go out there and carry the load, and he will steer the ship. You know what I mean? He'll make sure the story's being told correctly in your verbiage, in your promos and stuff. But it's up to you to get over, man. And then, like you said, it's you use that word a lot, Ryan. Undeniable. You use that a lot when talking to talent, and that's look, you got to stand out, get my attention. What are you going to do different? Because everybody can do a hip toss, everybody can do a drop kick, blah blah blah. Show me something. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
look, I get it. There's a different, wrestling is, and I don't want to, get off too off track here, but wrestling is so subjective. Like it's anybody. There's no wrong or right. There's no, how my opinion is valid, just like your opinion is. But we we're masters of our own destinies. There's no precedence in wrestling. Oh, you can't do that because of this. No, we can make up whatever we want to. We can do
And it's
whatever we want to do.
And it's wild how those opinions work and how extreme and drastic those opinions could be. Because if we survey 100 people, 50 people could say what they watched was the greatest thing they've ever seen, while the other 50 could say that was the worst thing I've ever seen. And how do you please the whole pie at that
Yeah,
point?
yeah, I mean, you look, you can't, and I found that out the hard way, when I was writing SmackDown. You can't please everybody, but you can tell. I mean, look, I don't think checking the Nielsen ratings is a proper way to tell too, but if you know what's good and what's bad, you know what you like and what you don't like. When you
Right.
get done with a show that you've written or performed on or whatever, I don't need to go to Twitter to tell me I screwed up. I know I screwed up. I don't need to go to Twitter to find out, oh, the guy didn't win that your people wanted to win. Yeah, that's part of the storyline. We're going somewhere with that.
Which always blows my mind a little bit, because obviously as a fan, I watch and I can get frustrated watching things too. But like so many things, if I'm watching a regular sport, things don't go the way I want them to go. And I think fans get so mad that they don't go how they want them to go. It's like, well, that's kind of how the real world works.
Yeah, it's kind of part of the deal. It's by design, and it comes with the program. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully, you'll tune in next week and see what the next beat of that story is.
Let me go off on a tangent based on what you said. What's it like the first time you go over to another country and wrestle in a different style that you're like, whoa, this is not the same as I'm used to?
Yeah, it was eye-opening and eye-closing due to swelling a lot. So it was really cool. Like, I went to Memphis, from when I was the roadie with Jeff and we left in '95. I went to Memphis and I started wrestling and look, Memphis and wrestling Doug Gilbert's one thing and Tennessee Tiptoe and the old arm wringer and, all thare things that are kinda comedy wrestling, so a little bit of that, and then I went to Germany, and man, it was a whole new ball of wax where there was a little bit of tussling going on, and you can call a spot, it just might not happen. And so it was, like I said, eye-opening, and I got beat up and battered a little bit until I learned, like, "Okay, that's how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna do if I'm getting beat up, I may as well do some of the beating my dang self." So
Absolutely.
yeah, it was eye-opening to go to another place and whoo, yeah, they started bringing it, and I thought, "Okay, well, here we go."
All right, keeping this moving in the right direction.